Alright guys, so we have this Chaldea broadcasting station coming up on the 24th of December, Christmas Eve, bright and early to drop Lostbelt 7 for us over here on the NA side of things, but I wanted to go ahead and clarify some of the banner order things because I do feel like there's going to be quite a few players that are going to see Lostbelt 7 drop and then wonder, hey, where is Nitocris Alter? Where is Tets? Where is, most importantly, Kukulkan? And I wanted to kind of just shed some light on that, kind of go over the banner order in this video, that way nobody is confused. So let's just not dilly-dally, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. But as you can see, we're going to be getting the first part of the Lostbelt 7, on the 24th. That's when it's going to drop. It dropped on the 25th over here in December, but I think because of time zones, technically they're like a day ahead or something along those lines. So realistically, we got it on the same time, right? Disregarding time zones and all that good stuff. But you'll also see if you check the page on the wiki, or I mean, they're not going to say in-game as of, before it drops, but if you check in-game, there's not really any new servants that come out, so you might be really confused, well, are we not getting any characters for Lostbelt 7? Obviously not, that'd be ridiculous. So one thing that I went ahead to just double-check to make sure I wasn't crazy was check when I released my Nitocris Alter video, and let me just adjust that real quick. So you can see it's on January 19th is when we got Nitocris Alter, and that is because Nitocris Alter didn't drop until part 2 of the Lostbelt 7 release campaign going on. In fact, it was the pre-release that dropped in the second week of January, and that is also coming alongside with a Nitocris banner over here. Now, I kind of get why, for story reasons, they don't drop her initially, but it might have some people feeling a little confused, right? And I'm just trying to help alleviate some of that. And yeah, there are some, I don't want to say like heavy story spoilers, and I'm not going to go into them in this video because I don't want to spoil things. This is just for people that want to know when these banners are going to go live. But yeah, it makes sense why you wouldn't drop her whenever the story drops, because there is a point in the story where it actually is relevant why we do have Nitocris Alter and all that good stuff. But then, if you're looking forward to Tets and all them, they drop towards the end of Lostbelt 7, right? You can see that Tets' banner actually dropped at the very end of January over here, and then Kukulkan was the first week of February. So it is not going to be for a while till we see a lot of these units. This is why, way back when I dropped this video, things were really slow. I mean, I was putting out videos just kind of really dissecting Nitocris Alter and the meta and how impactful she was, because you're doing the daily FGO content grind, you gotta talk about something, and they really didn't leave us with a whole lot. I'm assuming they also wanted more of the spotlight to be on Kirei, coming into the game, or Rasputin, if you want to call him that, but I think that's more of what they were focusing on, with that being the New Year's celebration and everything. They didn't want the new servants to overshadow them. But even then, kind of like almost, 2 weeks after New Year's is a little bit ridiculous, especially with the fact you have to wait to play the next part of the campaign and everything along those lines. So I am hoping that, I think, not just for Ordeal Call 3, but I'm pretty sure, if I'm remembering correctly, Lostbelt 6, I think, also got shortened. Like, we didn't have to wait as long in between parts over here on the NA side of things. Somebody in the comments will definitely let me know if I'm 100% on that one. But I'm hoping we'll get something like that on NA, because it is kind of a lot of just downtime doing a whole bunch of nothing, especially when, I mean, I used a lot of my apples for the NA Lotto, but now I have like 600 bronze apples and I have nothing to use them on. So, toss a rerun event, or, I mean, we're going to have Advanced Quest Part 12, which I'll also drop a guide on, but again, Advanced Quests are one of those things that, unless you're someone like me that really likes to test and stress test a lot of these different servants, you're probably going to do them once, get your CE farming reward, and then you're just going to look forward to getting Sand Quartz later on in the year. So that's not really going to be a whole lot of content for, people that want to actually play the game. But you could also argue that, like, we're going into Christmas and we're going into New Year. Some people are in college and are taking those cram courses in the month of January. So maybe they don't have a whole lot of time to play, some rerun event, but even then, usually they last for 2 to 3 weeks for some of the reruns. And so you have plenty of time to still be able to get that done. Now, if you're kind of a bad boy like myself, you also do the grinding while you're in class. I know, scandalous, am I right? As long as you pass, don't play FGO in class if you're not passing your classes, all right? But yeah, if you were wondering when they were going to drop, that is when it's going to happen. So about second week of January, after we get Kirei as the headliner going into the New Year's, and then when we start getting into part 3 of the event, that's when you're going to see Tezcatlipoca drop at the end of January, and you're going to see Kukulkan drop kind of that first week of February. And I can understand why people would really want these servants. Now, And Nitocris Alter is definitely going to be very impactful. 100% battery, decent power mod with manpower mod, you know, has some decent utility for the party as well as being able to support them. She'll be kind of a big deal, I guess, for people that are pulling often because she is on every single banner. You will see that she is not locked by story or she's not limited in any way. So I would just tell you that if you really want to do what I did, just wait till you get the 5-star ticket, pick her up with that one. I think it's the one that we got for the 30 million download campaign that included her. Very, very good pickup. Have not regretted it because just having somebody that can auto fire their NP with any CE, very strong. You do probably want to give her Black Grill if you have it because her MP1 damage, no power mod is kind of like Morgan. It's not really the best, but you can artificially inflate that with Black Grail to make her a decent wave clear. Although, do also keep in mind she's a 5-star, so she is a bit pricey to put into your team comp, so also keep that in mind. You're also giving her a 5-star CE, so just, you know, be mindful of all that stuff. But these two, I think, actually have severe meta impacts. Tezcatlipoca, because if you have a more limited account, you can do double Tet setups because of the fact that they not only have their own massive battery, but they also charge the party's NP, and they also share buffs with each other. They buff people that have the Guts buff on themselves, so effectively that like Jalter buff or the Liz buff or even the Steno buff that are able to double buff people based on their traits. This is effectively free to anyone as long as you don't have like Guts block or, you know, just buff block or something on your characters. It's effectively a free 40% attack buff for both of them. So they're very, very strong going into any like Rider, going into any Berserker node. They'll be really strong for that. Do also keep in mind they are arts AoE, so they should be able to refund a decent bit of their NP back on that, you know, if you're going to be using them for that. But Kukulkan, obviously, I mean, dummy nutty broken. People often forget that she's technically a pseudo support. I mean, over on JP right now, I am doing various setups, getting caster Ace the Savior to work, or Morgan 3, whatever you want to call her, and it's such a shame because I figured out, I was like, oh dude, I can actually bring a friend Koyenskaya, you know, I can use like Scotty, and then I can plug it into Merlin, and I can actually get the farming done with the new Append skill upgrade. You know, I was like, oh, this is really cool, and if you have Demonic Bodhisattva, you can get that working. And then I realized, I was telling a friend, I was like, well, then I immediately realized Cuckoo is just better than bringing Koyan Dark, because Koyan Dark can actually sub in for Scotty, you know, give the Buster buff, 30% NP battery, that gets the job done. But then I realized, well, Kukulkan gives me the big damage, and she also has a 50% battery, which is just better on paper. So I was like, huh, just another thing that Kukulkan is beating her out at. Not only is she the better DPS, but also he's just the better pseudo support, I suppose. But hey, you know what? I'm still going to use my Koyan Dart because that freak wouldn't leave me alone on the GSSR, so I gotta put her to work somehow. But let me know in the comments down below. I mean, this is normally where I would say, let me know who you guys are going to summon for, who are you looking forward to the most, but I know it's Kukulkan, right? You might be the odd one out saying Talalak is the one you're looking forward to the most. Don't worry, she's on every single banner here, as you guys have seen, so she will be a pretty decent pickup if you're summoning on numerous banners over here. Not the greatest at NP1, but when you start getting higher copies of her, she can actually perform rather well. Tets, if you are summoning for him, Tets Gang Rise Up. This is one guy that I'm going to have a hard time not summoning for. I know not everybody's a fan of like the different art style. I, for one, love it when we get these different artists, you know, just like to see some new interesting art hitting the game. His second Ascension doesn't look the greatest in that art style though, but all the sprites look fine. You know, he looks really cool in the sprites. He's a cool character in Lostbelt 7. You know, I'm sure a lot of people that are actually going to read and not skip through the entire story will also feel similarly, but Kukulkan, whether you're a meta shill, a waifu hunter, whatever have you, she's just kind of a must-have for everybody because she just does everything. She's dummy nutty broken. Like, definitely lives up to the title of, well, let me not, you know, spoil that for anybody, but she definitely lives up to all of the hype. So, you know, best of luck to everybody that's going to be pulling for her in like 2 months from now, basically. But yeah, just now you know when they're actually going to be coming out. And I guess with all that being said, you guys have yourselves a nice day, and I'm going to go ahead and get out of here, keeping this video short, sweet, and simple.